This is a free math lesson on how to find factors, brought to you by Matter of Math. Before we learn how to find factors, it's important to understand what a factor is. A factor is a number which goes into another number without leaving a remainder. For example, 1 times 12 equals 12. So 1 and 12 are both factors of 12. Another way to think about finding factors is to imagine you're sharing something out and you can't have any left over. For example, if you want to share 12 chocolate bars between 3 people, they would each get 4 chocolate bars each. So 3 and 4 are both factors of 12. Factors always come in pairs, because you need two numbers which multiply together. So the factor pairs of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. For square numbers, one factor pair will have the same number twice. 100 is a great example, because 10 times 10 is 100. Now we know what factors are, let's work out how we find all the factors of 96. To find all the factors, you need to start with 1. Can 96 be divided by 1? Well, no matter which number you're looking at, it can always be divided by 1. 1 is a factor of every number, so 1 is definitely a factor of 96. So what number do we need to multiply 1 by to make 96? Well, that's easy. 96 is equal to 1 times 96. So you now have your first factor pair, 1 and 96. Let's write them down here so we can see a list of all the factors we found so far. Next, we need to see if 96 is divisible by 2. Does 2 go into 96 without leaving a remainder? You might already know the answer to this is yes, without having to do any working out. This is because if a number is even, that is, if it ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, then it's always divisible by 2. So, what is the factor pair of 2? What do we have to multiply 2 by to get 96? You can work this out by dividing 96 by 2, which is 48. So our next factor pair of 96 is 2 and 48. Let's add those two factors to our list. We must now find the factors between 2 and 48. So let's figure out whether 96 is divisible by 3. To do this, you can either use long division and work it out on paper, or use divisibility rules. These are really handy to memorize so that you can use them when you start working with bigger numbers. If a number is divisible by 3, then the sum of all its digits should be divisible by 3. So we need to work out whether the sum of digits in 96 can be divided by 3. 9 plus 6 is 15, and we know that 15 is divisible by 3 because 3 goes into 15 5 times. So we've now found out that 3 is definitely a factor of 96. Now we need to find out the other part of the factor pair. What do we need to multiply 3 by to get 96? This is the same as how many 3's go into 96. To work this out, we're going to use long division. 3 goes into 9 3 times, and 3 goes into 6 2 times. So 96 divided by 3 equals 32. Now we have our next factor pair of 96, 3 and 32. When we add them to our list of factors, we can now see that we need to find all the factors in between 3 and 32. The next step is to see if 96 is divisible by 4. Again, this is where those handy divisibility tests come in. There are a few divisibility rules for finding out if a number is divisible by 4. If the last two digits are divisible by 4, then it has the factor of 4, but that doesn't make it any easier for us with 96. Another rule is if the number is even, once it's been halved, then it's divisible by 4. We figured out before, half of 96 is 48, and 48 is an even number, so 4 is a factor of 96. Now we need to work out how many 4's go into 96 to find the other part of the factor pair. 4 goes into 9 twice. 4 times 2 is 8. 9 take away 8 is 1. Bring the 6 down. Now we need to figure out how many 4's go into 16. The answer is 4. So 4 goes into 96 24 times. Now we'll add our next factor pair of 4 and 24 to the factor list. Next we need to check whether 96 is divisible by 5. You should be able to spot straight away that it's not, because 96 doesn't end in a 5 or 0, so 5 is not a factor of 96. Now we'll check whether 6 is a factor of 96. The divisibility rule of 6 is an easy one to remember. If a number can be divided by 2 and by 3, then it can also be divided by 6. We already know that 96 is divisible by 2 and 3 because we worked that out before, so 6 is also a factor of 96. To find the other half of the factor pair, we need to work out how many 6's go into 96. 6 goes into 9 once. 6 times 1 is 6. 9 take away 6 is 3. Then bring down the 6. 6 goes into 36 6 times, so the answer is 16. 6 multiplied by 16 is 96, so both 6 and 16 are factors of 96. Now we need to find any other factors that are left between 6 and 16. Let's try 7 next. Can 96 be divided by 7? Pause the video here and see if you can have a go at working this out. How many 7's go into 9? Only 1. 7 times 1 is 7. 9 minus 7 is 2. Bring down the 6. How many 7's go into 26? Only 3. 3 7's are 21, and 26 minus 21 is 5. No more 7's can go into 5, which means 5 is the remainder. 96 divided by 7 is 13 remainder 5, so 7 is not a factor of 96. Next, we'll try 8. Let's see if 96 is divisible by 8. 8 goes into 9 once. 8 times 1 is 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring the 6 down. Now how many 8's go into 16? 2. 2 8's go into 16, so 96 divided by 8 is 12. Both 8 and 12 are factors of 96. Now we only need to check for factors in between 8 and 12. The divisibility rule for 9 is if the sum of a number's digits can be divided by 9, the 9 is a factor. Let's try this for 96. 9 plus 6 equals 15. 15 cannot be divided by 9, so 9 is not a factor of 96. Let's move on to 10. We know 96 is not divisible by 10 because it doesn't end in a 0. It's that simple. So the last number we need to check is 11. Can 96 be divided by 11? If you know the 11 times table, you'll know that 8 times 11 is 88, and 9 times 11 is 99. So 96 can't possibly be divided by 11. So, now we have all the factors of 96. You don't need to check past 12, since you've already found those in decreasing size order, when you found the factors starting at 1. So the factor pairs of 96 are 1 and 96, 2 and 48, 3 and 32, 4 and 24, 6 and 16, and 8 and 12. If you write these all in a list, I have all the factors of 96, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 16, 24, 32, 48, and 96. You should now be confident in finding factors of a number. Go now and find the factors of 48 on your own, using the method we just worked through.